and happy Sunday. We are here for the Sunday football review. We're ready to kick off this weekend, give you some insight as you tinker with your fantasy team and get ready for a full day of great football. Browns are on a bye week, so I'm just out here rooting for Brandon.
I feel like Browns are on a bye week, and I won the Super Bowl this week. So
some would say
two things have happened this week.
Some would say it's a good week. It's a good week.
I'm trying not to sing the song so hard right now.
YMCA. All right, so in the spirit of things, we got to get into some of the media before we get into our review of the Sunday football schedule this week. Check this out. This was last week. A fan sitting front row at a football game.
It's an NFL policy that he cannot wear his Trump shirt in the first row. 100% false. 100% false. Right here.
Not a Trump shirt. It's nothing political.
Nothing political.
Unless it's BLM or Nike.
Cannot be worn at a building.
Wow.
We're in a free country. We're in a free country. So according to the NFL policy, you cannot wear anything political at all.
What game is this at?
Looks like maybe the Colts.
It's the Bills. It says the Bills employee. So whoever they were.
Good,
playing.
thank you. I couldn't read that. Yeah, so the Bills. But here's what's interesting is it's loudly Trump. There's a dilemma here. I get the dichotomy. Trump is a rich guy, or really any of these politicians running a campaign could be rich or have deep pockets.
Right.
You could buy a whole front row of an NFL game and have them all display a message. Again, the contract at the back of your ticket tells you that you're at the will of what they allow.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, you can't be the centerpiece of America and American culture and then try to have a bias lean, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's likely that the football stadium in New York might have looked the other way with a camo hat that said "White Dudes for Kamala." But this one is inflammatory because it's one of them dumb and deplorable garbage people.
I just did they make him leave or make him change his shirt? I am curious, how do you handle that? A guy paid to be there. It's not like his shirt's really giving off inflammatory language or anything.
Well, I just want to say, at least to his advantage,
you're wearing
you should be able to zip that up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then we should all go back to peace and quiet. But I imagine there's such a push for control that probably wouldn't even satisfy them. No, we want you to take it off.
Well, it's like zip up your shirt and then they're gonna monitor you the whole game to make sure your jacket's zipped.
Well, and again, what's interesting is you're at the one spot. They don't care if you're at the rafters.
No,
you could wear whatever the hell you want up there.
You pay for peasant ticket, so we treat you like peasant people. That's all that really feels like right there. There's so much just ridiculous control, and especially knowing what happened 2 days later, it's just oh, I'm wearing a suit now.
Right.
Right.
What
are you what are we gonna say?
And again, what is football but a sport and a pastime that has its own culture? It's for a particular group of people. Are we going to sit here and pretend that AOC is this program is for her and her people? It's come on, this really isn't going to offend.
Well, I mean,
the
just ask
viewer at
Bud
home.
Light. Look at Bud Light's reaction to all of this. They went the woke, and now you have the NFL wide going after a guy for wearing a T-shirt. You have nothing else better to do. You have an entire stadium full of people, but the guy's shirt is where you're drawing a line. Exactly.
Yeah. And again, that's why I feel like
it's Buffalo. It's not like New York. Again, the Giants, you were in New York City. You were in the suburb area of Buffalo.
Right.
If you I know you've gone out to Holiday Valley plenty of times. It's you're driving out in rural Ohio. You don't see a single Harris sign or anything of that nature. That's just too much. That's too much.
I could agree.
People are there to enjoy a football game, and you're now making a scene out of what? Because one fan brought it to your attention, and it's oh, now I feel like I'm threatened.
Right.
And the guy's I just am pissed off. I paid $12 for a beer.
And again, know your market. I love your point about Bud Light. It's you had to learn humbly. Now you got to pay tenfold to some guy like Shane Gillis to try to bring the culture back.
You think you're not going to see a lot of those shirts this weekend? You think you're not going to see a lot of it this weekend?
I'd be very curious to see but again, all they're policing is the lower bowl. That's all they need to police. They don't care about probably even the first 15 rows. Then beyond that, they probably don't even care.
It's just it's too much. Like the temperament is like way too high. Just relax. We're all here to watch a football game.
Right.
Like now, again, you're bringing attention to something that I wasn't.
Most
even
people were walking.
Not
past
even that.
you.
Like I'm not highlighting it. It's like I'm not walking. Like if he was being an ass and just like showing it off the whole time and yelling at people, that's different. But it's like if the dude just walked to his seat, was getting ready for the pregame, and then you just decided to walk up because another fan brought up to your attention, and now what? Like you're gonna make me leave?
Right. Or change. Like again, it's just that arm of control.
Yeah. I'm making actually no, that's genius by the NFL. I'm making you now go to the team shop and buy something so you could wear that instead. Honestly, genius marketing.
That's a Disney move.
That's genius marketing. That's big brain moves.
But you know, at least Disney gives you the shirt for free because
Our team.
Now, speaking of fans with great attire in the fans or in the stands, check out this Lions fan at the Packers game. The cheese grater. I love the cheese grater.
That's really getting into your team spirit right there. That's like I'm going to cook with this one. Week.
Yeah, and it was a great game. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was. Man, football fans, they really do get creative with it. I have my issues with stadiums and like fans and shit like that, but when they do it right, they do it right. And good for you.
Oh yeah,
good for you.
Now I don't want to stray away from the topic too quickly. One last bit regarding the Don. You know, the Don is as we lead into this big week that we had. Nothing to celebrate here. But as we led into this just regular, normal week, nothing special going on, he had some words for the NFL. What is the Don saying?
Speaking of football, maybe we can get the NFL to drop that ridiculous kickoff sit. What the hell is it? What is that? I watched the game the other day. I said, what the hell happened? They just kicked off and nobody moved. Oh, well, that's up to them.
I love that. Oh, well, it's up to them.
You know what? I do love knowing that he actually watches football.
Yes.
You know what was? I wanted to know Kamala's view on the kickoff.
Well,
maybe that would have helped out.
Yeah, I think that would have brought the independent.
Do you know how freaking funny that would have been if someone was like, "He spoke on the NFL kickoff rules. What do you think about it?" She'd have been like, "The fuck is that?" She'd have been like,
"I'm putting a mezuzah on the White House."
No idea, dude. They changed it. Which I would have found endearing, and I've been like, yeah, she probably doesn't watch football. That's funny.
Okay, we are 10 weeks now into this new kickoff system. What are your thoughts of how the kickoff operates now? We haven't seen a return, and the whole purpose was to try to create kickoff.
You and I literally saw one in person.
All the way back?
Literally the opening kickoff of the one game we went to.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Listen,
that is true. Shit. That was with Deshaun going down.
I think it actually is causing less injuries.
It's less injuries and opens the door at least, it feels, to more of an opportunity to return. All you have to do is get through that one layer of people.
Personally, I'm not even really for or against it. Funny enough, they've done a lot of these rule changes over the years where I've been like immediately be like, that one sucks, get rid of it. This one, like, I would definitely leave it up to the organizations to make that choice, because again, like me as a fan, I'm so old school. Like I view it and I'm like, man, none of these kids, like they're not running down there like missiles. They're not like running down there, putting their body recklessly trying to kill them. Like,
fortunately, because today is not live, I'll be able to bleep it and you'll be able to pick up on what I'm saying. But when I played club football at Miami, there was a senior that, so again, in college and club football, it's like that gray area. The dude was easily like 25, 27. Like he was older.
Okay, yeah.
Scrawny black guy with a big belly, but literally fast as all hell.
Yeah, a bowling pin.
This guy would line up on the line. I mean, dude, I looked forward to kickoff. I wasn't a starter, but I started on special teams. And so I wasn't like out there all the time unless, we were down bad, up high, or we were on special teams. Dude, I'd line up with this guy and he'd just pick a dude. and he just go, kick off, knock your off, kick off, knock your off, kick. And he just kept saying it until the kickoff. And this dude just was, I'm coming to kill you.
Yeah.
And then hit him, and then he just find the next guy. And you just hear, kick off, knock it, and just running everywhere. And dude, he would level people. I lived for that.
And that's the thing. Like I look at the new kickoff, and I understand, like, from a schematic point too, like you could make a play with that now. Like, so like special teams are probably getting creative with the way they're doing their returns. Whereas back then it was, dude, there's 11 missiles coming down this field. And like, you know, like,
I mean, Doug, you would agree. Will was the fast, lean guy that they would invest in allowing to touch the ball.
Yeah.
We were the pawns that just needed to get in the way. And the old style of kickoff was like, all right, the four of you just link arms, make a wall, and stop as much as you can. And dude, you had like Red Rover, all the big masters are coming over, and you just had to just brace yourself.
and that's what I mean. So like, again, we're 10 weeks in, and it's like, I see why they did it. Like, there is definitely less
100%.
injury. So like, if that's the goal, if why they did it, they are achieving.
Well, no. It was a dual-sided goal, because let's agree the way they evolved kickoff was accomplishing a safer kickoff. They moved the kickoff more,
yeah.
and again, all they did was almost every kickoff was a touchback. So at least now they've created a situation where we have significantly less touchbacks, and it still preserves that layer of safety they were building over the course of the last 10 years.
Yeah. So like, am I for it or opposed to it? Pretty still lukewarm. Like, I really don't have like a strong opinion either way. Like, if they were to say, hey, we're going back to the original, cool, I'm gonna see some bodies get freaking rocked. But if they don't, it's like, I will say, you do have more kickoff returns this year for touchdowns than you have in previous years. And I think because, like you said, like, there is really just one wall. If you plant your foot, see a seam, and break through it, like, there's your touchdown. Or if you can get around the wall. You know, whereas before, like you said, like Red Rover, knock it over. Like, that's coming. You can't get out of the way of that, man. Some people, I don't even want to tackle the guy. No, I want to tackle you.
Right. Yeah. You don't even have the ball. You know what my coach told me? Before we started this game? It was, I'm responsible for nobody.
Yeah.
But you're one man, and that's you, motherfucker.
Like, I remember I was in both. I was both on kickoff and kickoff return. I was a returner, and then my goal on kickoff was I'm the safety guy, which means while the other 10 are going down there, I'm like kind of waiting back to see if he breaks away.
Right.
But the other 10, I would stand back there and be like, let's see what happens. Come on, man. Let's see who really wants to be out here right now.
Right.
And like, that was entertaining on its own.
We saw what happened to one of our buddies on a kickoff. Got a concussion, didn't even remember that the game had started. He forgot 2 hours of his life.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you kind of like that. This is to get away from that. But sometimes you miss good old football like that. Sometimes you just do. Yeah. The problem is too, it does take away from it doesn't take away from the greatness. It actually kind of emboldens like the greatness of like a Devin Hester and a Josh Cribbs. That they, in the old,
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, in that old style, they were able to perform at such a level to where, like, again, it's not like you're seeing guys like routinely take off kicks and punts back for touchdowns.
You know, here's the thing. I think the science of exercising and building strength has evolved in such a way that we're building just stronger, faster Titans than ever before.
Not even that, but like longevity. Like, look at
Right.
TB12. Like, Tom Brady is able to play that much longer because of that.
So I am of a belief that, you know, had we continued kickoff the way it was when Josh Cribbs was doing it, you probably would find another athlete that would exceed those records.
Yeah.
However, like you said, since that isn't the reality we live in, like, dude, we really should be building statues of Josh Cribbs.
Josh
Like,
Cribbs
that
should
is a
be-
record that'll never be broken.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's a window in time and a preservation of like a severe talent that we don't even fish for anymore. It's actually become completely unnecessary in the NFL.
This is an ignorant question because I haven't been to that many Browns games at the stadiums throughout my life. Are there any statues of players at the stadium?
No.
Yeah.
Where, Doug? Lay it on us.
There
Doug
is
worked for the
There is the
Browns.
Jim Brown statue.
I was gonna say,
Okay, there's the one out
There's
front.
the
There's the firefighters
isn't
in
there an Otto
9/11.
Graham statue too?
Doug,
Touchdown.
Doug, could you repeat that one? He threw me with that comment.
Isn't there an Otto Graham touchdown too, or
I
a
have no
statue
idea.
too? I
Where?
know there's a Jim Brown.
Where?
though.
What would be the location?
I would assume Jim Brown. I would assume
I
Jim
thought
Brown.
we had a couple at some of the main entrances. I know we have Jim Brown though, so it's a lie. We definitely have one though. We don't have none.
And I would assume that, but it's like I remember.
You would hope the
Yeah,
greatest
exactly.
running back to ever live.
Yeah, like so you know, it. Yeah, you don't see many statues of Browns players. I can understand why, but like
We don't have much to celebrate.
we got a Phil Dawson statue.
But again, back to
He
that
should be in
point,
the Hall of Fame.
like, having been someone fortunate enough to grow up in that stadium, there was a series of seasons that it was like, how many is he getting today? Not like, would it happen? It was kick off to Josh Cribbs, please.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Couch ain't shit today, and half of our team is out with concussions. Kickoff. I'm living for kickoff. We're likely to score on kickoff. Kick him the ball.
Yeah. So I mean, but like again, like I just going back to the video you showed, I just love. I love that his like. At no point did he need to bring that up during a rally. It's not like anyone proposed that question. That's just something he saw. You know, he watched a game, probably the first one he'd watched in forever because he's campaigning. All of a sudden, he's just like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. And can we agree? Like, listen, this show's about football, everything else, but it's the way he ends it. The guy's got a sense of humor that these robot mind politicians never had, and that's what made it so special.
Well,
Like,
it makes me
maybe we
it makes
can
me
get
think
the
like, you know
NFL.
what, I'd love to know in a few months or like this time next fall while he's doing his work in the Oval Office, there's like a game on a TV in the background and he's just like, oh, I got Steelers Commanders on. Oh,
yeah, throw it on.
remember when they were the Redskins? Just kind of one of those comments and be like, Don, this is your third game you've watched all year. Just watch it. You're not even watching the game.
Make the Commanders fun again.
And he rambles off a tweet. It just sends it, like it just
Still should be. But like I said, this ending.
Game the other day, I said, what the hell happened? They just kicked off and nobody moved. Oh, well. It's up to them.
I just love it.
That's such a like boomer take too. Like,
up to them.
well.
It's up to them.
Like God, the levity that one comment brought. And there were people in the crowd being like, yeah, where's my country gone?
I want more concussions.
It's just so
Break that man.
it's just so it's funny. It's if you can't like what he said right there, if someone were to be like, take it too seriously, you'd be like, dude, like just relax. Like just relax, man. Then when we're on the football show, we're like, what do you think about it? I see why they did it. Like,
Right. But again, head down into the comments because I'd be curious, what is the attitude of everybody else? Because
yeah, honestly.
I kind of feel as he does, is this the answer? Like, it seems a bit peculiar, but also, like you said, I have not seen a return in forever. And you reminded me, there was one.
The last one I can remember was the one we went to. Funny
Yeah.
enough. And another thing too, you don't see like a lot of like uproar about it on social media.
No.
There have been plenty. Funny enough, another rule, is the hip drop tackle one. I've hardly seen that called all year.
Which should be that way.
And no, it
Because
should.
that's such
it
a
should.
fine
It
line.
should. I agree with the ruling, but it's like when they said they were making that rule, I was like, that is going to be a flag that changes the course of so many games. I'd be curious how many times it's been called all year.
Right.
Honestly, like I could think of like two that I know of, and one of them was the Chris Godwin injury.
That's what I was going to say is we definitely haven't seen it in one of our games.
Exactly.
So we're talking
So
across
I was surprised.
the NFL.
I was surprised, which I give the NFL restraint, like kudos for the restraint on that. Because instant that happened, I was like, that's going to be like roughing the passer, pass interference. Like at the end of a game, all of a sudden you get the stop and all of a sudden there's 15 yards and and the Chiefs get another extra down in Arrowhead. And now they're going back to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship. Like I genuinely thought that was going to be a huge thing. Again, we're only in week 10, so that very well could happen in fucking January. But so kudos to the NFL for having their officiating, having restraint. I have, much like every other fan, tons of issues with the officiating, like at any given time. But that was one rule. I remember people were in an uproar when they did that. And I agree with the ruling. Because that is genuinely for player safety. Look at the Chris Godwin injury. But I can't think of a single time that's been called in a Browns game this year.
Exactly. And that all being said, you've created this door that you could open at any time to change, like you said, change the whole outcome of the game.
That's a huge penalty.
And yet we're barely seeing it at all. So I've made this argument many a times on this show and many a times in the past. It feels like they've created a system where, again, how we were taught to block, Doug. Like, we know you have this slight ability to kind of grab the shoulder pads, and that's kind of how you're taught and everything else. Watch a game.
Go for the tits. Grab the tits.
That's right. But you see almost every game, there is holding across the whole line by the simple definition. You could find it.
Just ask Myles Garrett.
Exactly. Yeah. And every play he's being held and they're ignoring it unless they want to change the outcome of the game the other way.
Yeah.
I think this is the same thing. That is how you tackle. Yeah. Like, that's just how you tackle.
Yeah.
And now we could call you for doing your job.
Yeah. And it's, like, again, I think I truly do feel that the NFL, whenever they're making these new rules, it truly is for player safety. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'll give Roger Goodell credit for that. Like, I don't think he's trying to, again, ruin the game of football. I think he's genuinely at the top of it. It is player safety because, honestly, it's probably a shit ton of money that the NFL has to pay for these guys in the end of the day if, like, they really get screwed up. And he's like, I don't want to do that.
Well, and I don't want to get lost in the weeds of it too much. But one of the deepest papers I did in law school was in a legal defense for the NFL against CTE cases. There's a litany of contentions I could present. One of them being CTE can occur literally anywhere. Just like me head bobbing.
You can get a car crash, yeah.
Exactly. Or at a rock concert. I just got too drunk and I'm just, and then I just smash my brain
self-induced
all night long.
whiplash.
Yeah. I mean, that's how that works. So the fact that I can walk down my drive, I could be a perfectly clean NFL player my whole career. One day I'm walking to get my mail at the end of my driveway, covered in ice, slip, crack my head. How is the NFL, a courtroom, or any litigator going to be able to decide that your damage happened in that play of game and not in all the other hours outside of the game?
But you got to think of my medical history. I had a head injury when I was 5. Say I became a professional athlete, and then later on in life I have CTE. As if that wasn't somehow connected, even when I was 5. You know what I mean?
That's a huge point.
You know what I mean? Like, going with your point, it's like,
you don't mind me acknowledging it, but like the fact that you're sitting here and you literally cannot hear out of one ear.
Yeah, I am retarded too.
I was trying to be nice about it. but I only bring it up because it's like, look at how something at such an early point in your life has that long impact for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And you were amongst our crew. You went and played at a Division III football team. Like, you were of the caliber that could compete at higher levels. And yet you could always point to something else outside of the whole game that could have totally and did, in fact, change the whole trajectory of your life. So I only bring that piece up because to only strengthen the litany of contentions a good attorney can make on the case of the NFL, as long as Roger Goodell and or the organization is doing a proactive, conscious effort to continue to evolve. Yeah. Like, hey, man, it may not work today and it may not get better tomorrow, but at the very best, we're trying. And as long as you could show, I got a whole list of reasons. On top of that, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm consciously working on it daily. There's literally nothing the players' union can do.
Dude, I'm telling you, freshman year, strong safety, I had to have had probably at least 5 or 6 concussions throughout the year. Just like thinking of the headaches I would have after the game. Like, just like, again, black seniors sending me off on blitzes all the time, just running in like a missile. I would leave those games with just like critical headaches. Now, funny enough, like at the time, I'm not thinking. Right. But like now that I'm older, I'm like, I wonder how, like I would think they would happen so much easier because then like they switched me offense playing running back. I never really felt that. But like playing defense, doing that, I really now look back and wonder, I'm like, I wonder if my head injury when I was 5 attributed to that.
Dude, probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably. I mean, the years as a lineman that were the worst for me.
Every play's a
year-
headbutt.
Well, exactly. But the ones that were the worst were when you had coaches where like the game strategy was down and not out.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
dude,
Go right into
the
their
fact
legs.
that like, here's what's weird. Being at 30 years old, spent a whole lifetime with one scheme of football. And then I'm supposed to sit back in the last 5-6 years of my life. Crab blocking and cut blocking is just illegal. And it's like, wait, that was the whole game when I was doing this.
Yeah.
That was like half of the technique,
Yeah.
let alone like when you were on the other side of the ball, half of what you needed to defend against. Like, dude, I will never forget. This probably isn't the right story for this, but dude, your dad had you at center and you would cut block and break my knees when we would play Pee Wee.
Oh, yeah.
And my dad looked at me and he goes, jump on his back, step on his back. My dad says, step on his back. And he does it, and I jump on his back, and your dad flipped as he should. And again, all I'm saying is that everything I just said, all dynamics, offense, defense, the whole approach, gone.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't even exist in the sport anymore.
And it's funny too, if you like think about it, it's like, why is it now gone? It's because like when you're younger, your body is more like,
oh yeah, you're like rubber, dude.
Yeah,
Just throw that bitch.
you know? And then once you get old enough, you're like, no, you actually might hurt him for a long time. That actually might really cause a problem.
It's true.
so
You're
funny.
100% right.
But you know, again, when you're kids and you're growing up, and all of a sudden you're told you can't do that anymore, you're like, what the fuck, dude? I made a living off this.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it quick. We don't need to go in long diatribes of each team, but let's get to the review. We've got I got a video for you. If we're going to be talking about, head hits and everything else, there's also Sly Devils out here that are just missing the hits. This one's probably in the contention for play of the year.
Oh, Saquon's, yep.
Yep. And yep. Dude, that's so awesome. Like that. Whoop.
There was a
Chubb used to do stuff like that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd ever really.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's.
I've seen Trump face it, or Trump.
I've seen Trump, dude, 99-yard touchdowns after touchdowns, dude.
Dude, you never seen Trump play football, bro?
Dude, he 99-yard touchdowns and 5 touchdown passes. That's my guy.
I've seen Chubb jump over a guy forward.
Yeah.
I've never seen a spin to a double spin backwards jump.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Funny enough, I've seen that video. It's crazy impressive. But then I saw a video of a kid, like, I think he was like in high school. He tried to do the same thing. And he got over the guy, and the guy behind him, hits him, and he like helicopters.
Yep.
It's like, dude, don't try that move. If you were to go back to Saquon and be like, why'd you do that? He'd be like, oh, fuck no.
I'm Saquon. Why'd you do that? I'm Saquon Barkley. Hey, kid, in high school, you're not Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Saquon, why'd you do that? He was gonna hit me.
Yeah. No, because I can.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so
all right.
funny.
So let's look at the schedule coming up.
To the new week, though, Will. New week.
Yes, exactly. And looking at the first game of the week, it was a tight one. High scoring game again.
Dude, it was 7-7 at halftime or something like that.
Talk about a second half that just blew up. But the Ravens came out victorious, which I'm never one to root for the Ravens, but I was hoping they'd win just because then that just makes our win and our victory against them that much sweeter.
Joe Burrow has played so well this year, and he has lost like 3 games by a point.
Well,
Like, he really has played very well. Like, you lost 34-35, and it's like, imagine a Cincinnati fan be like, Joe, what the hell? I'd be like, suck my dick.
well, at least for him, we still had Deshaun, and so he was at least able to break that streak of always losing to us.
Oh,
Browns.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So at least he got a little bit of a
Dude, I don't think he ever beat Baker when he was here.
no.
I don't think he did.
Which again, I don't want to be the guy. You've said it before. That means nothing.
No,
The quarterbacks against each other mean nothing.
No.
But because if anything, it speaks to Baker when he was on the Browns had a stronger defense.
Yeah.
At least that, or Burrow's offense was weaker in comparison to our defense. But anyway, neither here nor there. Giants versus the Panthers. I think the Panthers have caught a little bit of a momentum in terms of their offense, but the Giants have shown that they can shut that down. You're looking at two stinkers. This is going to be a close game. I want to go with the Panthers, but the Giants are probably going to come out.
I'm telling you why I'm
victorious.
taking Panthers. I'm pretty sure every home team, whenever they do one of those like European games, wins.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure
And I'm glad you bring that up because
yeah.
this is the Germany game.
Yeah.
Right, Doug? Doug
Yeah.
was eager to jump
Yes,
on that.
It is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're either undefeated or like only like have had lost one, the home team.
Okay.
Bears, Pats, a stinky boy. We got a stinky one.
going with the
Two
Bears.
stinkers. I'll go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Pats.
They lost. You did it last week and they lost.
I'm doing the Pats.
The
Drake
Bears
May,
have
get a
shown
win.
that they deserve our
Get
attention.
a win.
4-4 versus 2-7.
I am not
dude.
a fan of the painted fingernails, man. I'm going against
Ugh,
that. I'm not a fan of
okay.
the painted fingernails and Trevor Lawrence's hair.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm going against it.
Wait, what? Trevor Lawrence ain't playing in that game.
I know, but like again, I'm now making enemies on other teams. So I got painted nails and long hair. I'm against them.
Bills and Colts. Bills should definitely win.
Bills, unfortunately, Joe Flacco, just he doesn't have the same charm he had on the Browns.
But don't be wearing any of that controversial stuff in the stadium. Folks will get upset.
All right, Vikings, Jaguars. Doug, did Trevor Lawrence cut his hair this week?
I do not think he did.
All right, I'm taking Minnesota.
I'm going to say more so the Vikings being a Titan versus the Jags that are cleaning the league's shoes.
Yeah. Chiefs.
Chiefs
are going to remain
Chiefs
undefeated.
are going to just stay undefeated.
Chiefs are going to
Lovely.
remain undefeated. Man.
Falcons Saints. And that's because they're playing the Broncos. Falcons Saints. 2-7, 6-3. Falcons need to be victorious here, but the Saints can show.
Dude, the Saints won the
especially being home.
Saints won the first two games, and Derek Carr was an MVP consideration. He did get hurt, but they've still not won a game since, and that's why I'm taking Atlanta.
Fall off hard. Look, I'm with you. Looking at the Buccaneers, 49ers, going the Bucks. 4-5, 4-4. This is an even record, but clearly the Buccaneers are the superior team. The games that the Buccaneers have lost have not been that they are overly inferior.
They got a bad defense, man.
Yeah.
They really do not have a good defense.
I don't think kills them against the 49ers. I really don't.
Oh, God. I'm being sacrilegious. I'm going to take San Francisco.
Wow. That's against your parlay pick, which we'll be getting to soon.
I think Baker's going to throw for 2 or 3 touchdowns and still lose. I think he's playing very well. He's losing these games.
High scores.
But their defense. There's something weird there. There's something off. Their head coach is a defensive coach, too. It's just, they've lost so many high-scoring games. They've only had one loss where they scored like less than like 20 points, and it was against Denver like the third week. And ever since then, they've scored like a lot of points and have still lost games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Commanders, Steelers, 7-2, 6-2. Commanders, I think, are the better team, but you can't.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm going Pittsburgh, man.
You can't just walk over Pittsburgh.
And no one's really saying it, but Russell Wilson, I'm going from Fields to Russell Wilson, does look like the correct move in the end. He is playing very, I wouldn't say he's playing very well, but he's very reliable.
Yes.
Very reliable.
Yes. And I want to just at least double down with the Commanders, though, I think have across the board the more solid. Like the Steelers are always going to figure out a way to make
the Steelers got defense.
That's it. Well, they got coaching. Defense, They've got a whole administration that even with a lack of pieces parts, they can make it happen.
Yeah.
The Commanders, though, across the board feel like they have the majority of their holes plugged in terms of position players.
And I still got Jane Daniels winning Rookie of the Year, but I think this is a trap game for Washington. I think it's a trap game for Washington. I think you're playing a good team at home. You're playing a very disciplined team at home.
Right.
And that's and Washington's a young stud team. Like they've got a lot of gunners there. Washington's got a presumably bright future.
Right.
Like this has turned out to be quite the expedition that they've gone on this year. But I think Pittsburgh's going to take this one.
Looking at the Titans and the Chargers, The Chargers showed that they're not just a nobody team. I mean, 5-3.
Chargers.
It's
I'm
got to
taking
be the Chargers, though.
I did see the report yesterday. The Titans are starting Will Levis again, so that's why I'm putting the Chargers in.
That's fair. That's fair. Jets and Cardinals. I'd love to see the Jets
hate this
come out.
fucking matchup. I cannot stand Kyler Murray, and I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers.
What the hell has happened to that guy?
Rodgers?
Like Aaron Rodgers is just.
I think it's age. Like it's nothing against him. I just another thing. It's like that clip I had a few weeks ago. These teams make these trades and they think that the Super Bowl is within their grasp. And truthfully, I do not think the Jets were near a Super Bowl window when they made that trade. But they got Aaron Rodgers, and the belief was this is a Super Bowl winning team. And Rodgers can still sling the rock. Rodgers' problem is he's not mobile enough for that offensive line. And,
and I think his headspace is just elsewhere.
It always is. He thinks he's
a
California intellectual. He's smarter than the rest of us. He will tell you that. And honestly, I'm taking the Cardinals.
You know what's interesting? There was a fitness trainer I had that worked for the NFL, and he would tell me stories about how you have two legendary quarterbacks at the time, right? And he would say Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers, both Super Bowl winners, right? You've got two legendary quarterbacks, and he goes, their work ethic is entirely different. Somebody like Aaron Rodgers is playful. He comes in, he's shooting the shit. It's just time to hang out. He's there to do his work, and he gets his work done. But there's a lot more levity. It's a lot less serious. And, we have a good time. Whereas Drew Brees was militant. Yeah. It was, you come in, you grind. We're not here to laugh. There is no chit chat. We are here for business. And you see two quarterbacks that could accomplish and achieve the same goal, but had two very different approaches to that. It is interesting, though, now with the perspective of time, how that point seems to mildly have unraveled. Yep. It feels like it, at least, because you have somebody like Aaron Rodgers who was. Now, the more he does ayahuasca and gets his tinfoil hat on, it feels like, dude, you're not focused enough on football and you're getting lost in the ethos.
Aaron Rodgers should have retired, if you really were to ask me, because it's
Danica Patrick would say that.
Funny enough, Tom Brady, he makes the trade, and in 1 year he has as many Super Bowls in the NFC conference as Aaron Rodgers has had his entire career. And now he's in the AFC, and you at best will probably finish third in your division.
That's a true point.
It's and but again, I've always felt that too about Rodgers, like going to your point, like
but look at the Packers player that preceded him, right?
Jordan.
Well,
Favre.
And so you got somebody like Brett Favre. You just look at, to achieve that level, this needs to be a fabric of your DNA. And so, like most NFL players, you need to remove me from the game. I'm never going to remove me from the game.
The only thing that removed Favre from the game was Wrangler jeans and welfare checks. Those are the only things I got.
I was going to say, what was it? Diverting city funds to build a soccer stadium for your daughter's like travel soccer team. Yeah, that's a political.
Sometimes
asterisk.
It's ayahuasca. Sometimes it's city funds for a soccer stadium. You gotta pick your demons, man.
All right, so I guess we're saying not the Jets. I'm rooting for the Jets, but the Cardinals should win. They're the better
goddamn
team.
Jets. Screw them.
Fair. Eagles, Cowboys. Eagles should win, but man, do the Eagles love juggling football games to keep mediocre teams in the fight?
Well, funny enough, I don't know if you saw the report earlier today. Dak Prescott out for the year. He's undergoing surgery.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's out for the year. So
he will not be playing?
He's not playing. He's done for the year. He's officially. I don't know who they're starting. I was going to take, even if he was starting, I was still going to take the Eagles, but he's done for the year. Jerry Jones has. Funny enough, I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys, it's going to be a couple rough years for them because you've really hedged your bets with Dak. And I think this is the right
move. By a lot of money.
I'm blind as hell. I can't see what the record is right now, but I don't.
3-5
5.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost.
I should have
already-
been doing this.
They're almost already kind of out of it. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a rough one. I think it's going to be a rough year or two for the Cowboys. They got a lot of people to pay. They just spent a lot of more money on Dak, and I think Dak is a Kirk Cousins-like guy where at best he might win you a divisional round playoff game.
You're right, at best. Looking at the 8:20 game, Sunday evening game, Lions-Texans. I love this game. We got two strong teams.
That's
But I
the
do
matchup
think-
of the
Let's
week.
go Lions.
I do think CJ Stroud is going to fall short, and I do think the Lions are going to keep their momentum because it's the momentum they've earned
I'm
and
pretty
deserve.
sure the Lions are the Super Bowl favorite. The Chiefs
Yeah.
are still undefeated.
and
That's
I'm
how well
so
they're
happy
playing.
about that. I
That's
love
how
the
well they're
Lions.
playing. So
Really?
I'm going with the Lions, dude. They're playing
That's huge.
out of their mind. You
Good.
can even make an argument that right now that even though Baltimore lost Kansas City like in week 1, you can almost make an argument they have better Super Bowl odds because they're playing that well. The Chiefs are getting by the teeth of their skin.
Every time.
The teeth of their skin.
Skin of their teeth.
Skin of their teeth.
Teeth of their skin.
Sorry, sometimes sorry.
You doubled down, or else I wouldn't.
Sorry, double down. Sorry, skin of their teeth. Damn it. Well, it's like funny enough. You go back like last week, they beat on Monday Night Football. They beat Baker and the Buccaneers. And if you were to go back, I would have like in the moment. I was like, Tampa Bay should go for 2 right here. You either make it or you don't. They're remaining undefeated if you don't, and if you do, it's a hell of a win. It's a hell of a story, especially for Baker. It's like your top 2 receivers are out, and you put a big dog fight against them.
Right.
Played out of his freaking mind.
And again,
They should have
I-
gone for 2.
well, and at the same time, did you come out victorious? Literally, no. But at the same time, Super Bowl 3-time winner, coming up on a
Oh, yeah.
dynasty, you came out victorious in that. Like you were neck and neck. They came out ahead by the skin, like you said, the skin of their teeth. But at the truth, you were right there with them, and you could have been the victorious team. You're contending with the Super Bowl.
I want you to clip
winners.
that and make that the goddamn quote.
What?
Skin of their teeth or teeth of their skin.
Teeth of their skin. Teeth of their skin.
4 more years.
4 more beers. Thank you, Will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get to Monday Night
Let's get to Monday
Football. The Dolphins or the Rams?
I think this is a freaking stinker. I don't know why. I just think this is a stinker ass
Dolphins,
game.
baby. Dolphins.
Here's what I love. Barstool, you know how they do their like rankings of the teams? They make their weird categories.
I love
There
them.
was a category this past week of teams that have no chance of making something happen, but will fuck your day up. And it was the Dolphins, the Browns, and I can't remember who the third one was. It's like, we have no chance of being a contender, but we could ruin your chance.
It's funny enough, like Tampa Bay wasn't their own one, and it was just like Baker still has me believing. It's like that's it. It's like this is the only reason why they're this high up. It's
Yes.
just that guy.
So Dolphins, Rams. I mean,
I'm gonna
what a
take
bad Monday Night
LA
Football.
at home. I'm gonna
Yes.
take LA at home. I do like that matchup. It's 2 good coaches. You have 2 decent quarterbacks playing. Tyreek at the moment is questionable, but I'm sure he's gonna end up playing.
you know,
I just could not care less about those 2 teams. Truthfully.
fair, and one of my professors when I was in college, he was from St. Louis. There was a lot of backlash when St. Louis moved their football team, or the
Mhm.
football team was moved to Los Angeles. However, and here was another quirky thing, right? You've got 2 Los Angeles teams now because of the Raiders move and everything else. You've got 2 Los Angeles teams sharing a fan base. And one thing I want to truly commend the Rams, right? The Rams left, went to St. Louis, and then came back. You have this situation where people, they have a strong fan base, and they've capitalized on the Hollywood trend and the celebrities and folks that are there, but the Chargers didn't.
No.
Like this is, if I were to say who is the LA team, it is the Rams. And the only reason I make this comment to begin with is I think your point was the strongest, which is looking at this matchup, we need, this isn't the Seahawks, this isn't the Browns, this isn't the Ravens, however, or Pittsburgh. However, this is a home team that does have an effect, just like the teams I listed. And we don't really give them that credit because they're a newer team.
Well, the problem was when they won the Super Bowl, it really felt like they weren't the home team at that point. And now it's like they've kind of solidified, like, no,
Yeah.
this is the LA team. Like, it's the Rams, it's not the Chargers. that was what pissed me off so much when they ended up winning that Super Bowl. It was like half the people there are celebrities and they don't give a shit.
Well,
They're
the
just there to be-
Chargers
Exactly.
came from San Diego
Right,
too,
and they should
so
never have left.
it's not like they didn't really think they had to try because they thought their fans may travel. The Rams had to actually try and win back people from 30 years ago when they used to be.
Dude,
in
don't
town.
kid yourself. I'm sure like if like people from California go out like west, they'll be like, oh no, we love LA. But I'm sure like if you're in LA, people in San Diego and be like, I hate those
Yes.
sons of bitches up there. Like they do not like them. And it's like, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
And like Doug said, they did a good enough job creating that environment and that trend to where the Dolphins are really going to have an uphill battle. But with Tua back, they are catching a little bit of a spark.
They're competitive, you know. And it's like I think that's a good. I think I said it was a stinker. I said it's simply a stinker because it's like I could care less about the
Yes.
LA Rams and the Miami Dolphins.
Correct.
Like those are two cities that it's like those are not like they don't strike me as like football towns, but like two good teams, two good organizations, two good coaches, two good quarterbacks. Like it's going to be a decent game.
I agree. Now let's get into the Rethink Tank Parlay pick of the week. Nobody's drinking this week. You know, we've been swishing and swigging Smirnoffs for the last couple
I
weeks.
still have yet to.
That's true.
I've still
you
have yet
would have
to.
had them in the past, but we started the rule recently in the last few weeks since we started the rule.
Like
Will
Sugar
has-
Sean O'Malley, I'm still undefeated.
Well, we'll see how it goes this week because at some point a guy's got to get cold. But this week was strong. Sweep across the parlay. We had 2+ passes with Baker, and then Doug and I came out victorious with Derrick Henry. Now, Doug's upset with me, and he's allowed to be, and it's because we refrained from Raven picks this week because we want you to be involved. So we're preserving a parlay pick that we can release to you on a Sunday to where you could compete with us, one that we are confident will hit. That's why, Doug, we have the Smirnoff punishment because we owe it to the folks to try our best to bring a victory. So this week's parlay pick of the week.
Hang on real quick, Alex.
Yeah, please, Doug.
I would have hit if we done a Derrick Henry anytime.
Yeah, that
touchdown.
was
Just
said.
saying.
That was addressed.
I would have hit.
We have rolled over that point.
And you know
we
what?
haven't rolled
You know
over
what,
enough.
Doug? Now you're damn sure betting on Jared Goff to throw 2 touchdowns. Because if you don't, you're gonna guzzle that thing down like a
I will
glizzy.
because you know what? It's my job.
And
I'm
God bless you, Doug. God bless you. So,
He's like,
Will-
I'm now contractually obligated to drink this stupid thing.
It's in my contract, not for the other show, but it's in the contract for this one.
now, Will is lucky, unlike Doug, to keep his momentum rolling. He's
Mhm.
sticking with the Baker Mayfield 2 passing touchdowns.
Leaves the NFL.
I have faith in the running backs. That seems to be what kind of works for me with these parlays. I was gonna go with the Devon A-Chain running yards, but holy hell, dude, they were really predicting low yardage. So what I am hoping for is Tua to get us to the end of the field, and then we rely on A-Chain to get the touchdown.
You're hoping Tua hits a couple 10 to 15 yard routes and just kind of backs the linebackers off a bit.
Yep.
Opens up a seam for A-Chain. He has like 2 or 3 runs of like 20, 30 yards.
And well, I didn't even go with yards. I just need the TD.
Just
I
the
don't
TD.
even
yeah,
I don't even need the yards.
Yeah,
I
excuse
would
me.
like it for fantasy.
Yeah.
I could
Get
use
down to
it.
the 1 yard line and then just like,
Bingo.
do some play action passes.
That's what I'm hoping
just to
for.
piss
And Doug is the Jared Goff king.
Jared Goff, baby. He's having a hell
I
of a year.
love me my Lions. They're my team other than the Browns.
Yeah,
man.
he's a pretty mid quarterback.
He is just a mid.
He is. You got to do Doug like that.
I did. That was an egregious statement.
So everything being said, be sure to dive to DraftKings wherever you place your bets and join in on the Rethink Tank pick because we've got a little wave of success and we want to keep it rolling.
I would say do DraftKings, you get better odds.
It's true.
You get
There's a
better odds.
major payout. We're gonna be making some cash this week.
I'm gonna get some coffee.
And if we win, we're going to just keep it rolling, double down, make the pot bigger next week. So, guys, thank you for joining us. We normally go live, except for this week. We've got a pretty big guest headlining at Hilarities this week. We got to fit our schedule to his schedule. So, because of that, we've got a recording for the podcast tomorrow. So you can look forward to that coming out. Those come out every Wednesday. We do a live show on Tuesdays as well, the Rethink Tank Live at 7 p.m. This last week was one of our biggest episodes. We did a huge independent media coverage of the election, and it was a great time. So be sure to click on over and check that out. We've got a So Here's Where I'm At that I'm super excited for. I put a lot of work into. If you're looking for where all this content can be found, we've got all new shows and different things coming at you. You can find it in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Otherwise, kick back, enjoy a fun Sunday football week, and hopefully you do well with your fantasy team. But, we do our best to keep you in the know. Be sure to dive into the comments to give us your thoughts. I want to know what you think about the kickoff because it seems like people are on the fence. But otherwise, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.